started off great, and no matter what I did, I couldn't get either like the pH to balance right. It had this weird like sour note to it, and I don't think it was infected. I didn't check to see if it had. I didn't send it to White Labs to get it analyzed or anything, but I wanted it to work so bad because the honey smelled amazing, and it tasted like eating a hop cone. Like if you tried it, and I just couldn't get it to work, and I still have nightmares about like what could that have been, and I ruined it somehow.
I actually did a quick. I did a quick lookup of exactly what honeydew honey is, and it's honeybees collect honeydew from a scale insect that lives on the sap of certain pine trees, and they excrete waste in the form of honeydew.
So this was like poo from other bugs that the bees collected.
Right.
Okay.
And then it went in my mouth, and
then it went in your mouth. Yeah.
we're eating bee barf already, guys. I mean,
yeah.
How much worse does it get?
Well, that's like I guess our version of like the Kopi Luwak coffee, right? So.
Exactly.
I keep waiting for somebody to make a coffee mead out of Kopi Luwak. It's like cat poop mead.
Yeah.
Well, we do have a wine here called cat piss on a gooseberry bush, or cat pee on a gooseberry bush. That is the name of the wine.
Okay.
Not sure I'd want to name a wine cat pee anything,
It's a white. A friend of mine really liked it, so I ended up with a lot of the bottles from it.
Well, the first beer I ever made, I named Goat Scrotum Ale.
What was that, Alex?
Cat pee is actually a flavor on the flavor wheel, right?
It is.
For the wine flavor wheel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's right next to horse blanket and shoe leather, I think.
The thing is, though,
all the tasty bits.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, I think some people are, like mousiness, some people are more susceptible to that smell than others. Like, my mother describes pine trees and spruce trees and, blackcurrant anything as tasting like cat pee. Whereas I'm like, I don't see that, but, I can sort of see how you could, but I don't. And then, Hamish and the whole mousiness thing.
Yeah.
Some people are really sensitive to something.
Yeah. With the POG that we did, the Passion Orange Guava, I go a little guava heavy on it because I want the color, I want that, that beautiful pink color. But one of the aromas that a lot of people pick out of guava is cat pee. And I have a cat, so I don't know if I'm like nose deaf to it. I just smell tropical fruit. But I took it to a winery, and I was talking to the owner and the young lady that runs the tasting room. So I took them a pilot batch of our session. It was like maybe 8% or so sparkling, and they're drinking it. They're like, "This is really good." They're like, "What's that smell?" And she's sitting there, and she's just by herself, and she's like, "It's cat pee. I smell cat pee." I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like, this smells amazing." And then the owner comes over, and he's like, "Does this smell like cat pee?" I'm like, "You guys got to be kidding me! Like, what's wrong with my nose? Like, how is that?"
You've gone nose blind, Alex.
Yeah.
Well, it's like
the
durian.
local,
periodically making durian mead comes up on the Gotmead forums, and it's like...
Oh, no.
No. It's like no.
Yeah. The local fruit winery here once tried their hand at making an avocado wine, and that was a generous helping of cat pee, is all that was.
Sounds like a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah.
We had an avocado traditional at the Mead for Your Die last weekend.
Avocado honey, yes, but avocado the fruit? Ooh.
No, I wouldn't want to make a wine out of avocado the fruit.
That'd be like artichoke wine or something.
There'd be so many challenges there.
I know, the amount of oil in it?
Yeah, so you'd have to do like a what's it called? You'd have to have, that's tough.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Okay, so most exotic honey.
That I've used or that I've tasted?
That you've used.
Both.
Both is good, yeah. But I'm curious what's it, because it's always interesting to see what honeys people use to make their meads, you know?
You guys are going to laugh. Exotic for me are things like Tupelo.
Well, yeah, it's across the country.
We don't have it in California. But I've used blackberry honey before. That was awesome. And, real blackberry honey, not you got it from somewhere and they put, blackberry extract in it or something.
Yeah.
Getting those, nuances of the berries, that was really awesome.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
You can buy honey bears at gift shops. So there's a huckleberry honey that my daughter really likes, and they basically add huckleberry juice to it. It's good, but it's not huckleberry honey,
Yeah. In terms of tasting, we go to Hawaii maybe once every 2 years or so, and they have, I forgot what the name of the place is, but they have that white honey that is super chewy and pasty. It's perpetually crystallized. I can't remember the name of the place, but that stuff's amazing.
Yeah, there are some that come pre-crystallized. They just stay like that all the time.
Yeah. That's probably the most amazing honey I've ever had. You could take that and, spread it over some toast, and I would be happy, forever.
With some Vegemite.
Curse you, I'm going to have to try Vegemite and honey sometime.
Hamish brought me a little jar of Vegemite from Australia and went on a mission to get me to eat Vegemite.
How did that go? I'm really curious.
It actually went pretty well. The secret is to spread it super thin so it's almost not there, and then it's good.
With butter.
With butter,
Made
yeah. So
butter.
basically you're covering it up so that you really don't know that it's there.
You're not covering it up.
Does that come in a jar or a tube?
It comes in a jar. It's spent yeast. So
I
It's
believe
delicious
you can get
is
it in
what it
tube
is.
also.
If you take what falls to the bottom of your fermenter and spread it out and let it dry, put it in a jar, you got Vegemite.
And add a bunch of salt. Don't forget the salt.
And don't forget, it does have a lot of salt in it. Yeah.
What's a flavor enhancer, though? I mean, there's hydrolyzed yeast powder in just about everything these days.
Oh yeah, totally. And I mean, I put brewer's yeast in protein shakes and stuff like that. So I'm not averse to using it, but it's just kind of an ongoing. I pick on Hamish about it, especially since he tried to bring me cherry ripe. So
Oh man, seriously.
Seriously, dude, you forgot. And then you
Yeah, you
admitted
like
that
cherry
forgot.
ripe. So I didn't need to convince you. I didn't forget. I ran out of time. I was busy.
Well, you'll just have to go and visit him.
No,
It's
I
worse
can
than
buy
forgetting.
cherry
Yeah,
ripes on Amazon, so I don't have to go visit.
Thank you,
them.
AJ. I don't know how I missed that opportunity.
Worse than forgetting. Active, not getting.
I was busy. Yeah.
That was me.
Yeah.
I've chosen not to do it.
Hey, I got you mead.
You did.
Yeah, you did get me mead, and I'm looking at the 5 little bottles of it here, and I haven't even touched the big bottle you brought me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got beer for Manny.
Yeah, you did. Oh,
Yeah.
and Alex, the honeys he brought. Oh my gosh, they were so interesting.
I'm actually really curious. There's been a couple different guys down here that have been sourcing honey from uncommon places. I think the most recent one was Golden Coast did their mirth with honey from the Yucatan. So they sourced it from this one guy in the rainforest, and it was nothing I had ever had. It was kind of musky. When you tasted it, it tasted like tropical flowers. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I had never tasted anything like it, and it was just a traditional made with that honey. So there's a lot of opportunity out there to start finding those, those unique varietals that, when you look at the spreadsheet of honey varietals, it's the 0.0001 production size. You can probably find something that's going to make something that's amazing.
Oh yeah, I had a buddy who was he was building wind farms down in Jamaica, and he would call me and we'd be on the phone for 2 or 3 hours at a time, and he was telling me about the honeys they have down there, and he said it was like liquid tropical flowers. He said it was the most amazing honey he'd ever had, And I'm totally jonesing after some of that honey and trying to figure out how I can get my hands on some, to try doing some traditionals with it. But yeah, it was what you were saying. He said it literally smelled like the flowers themselves, and it was just, they were really, really intense.
Yeah, I think that one threw me such a curveball because, if you've been to anywhere tropical, you've been to like DR or Jamaica or Hawaii, like there's flowers there. You smell them and you're like, I know this is a flower. I've never smelled that before, and that's exactly what that ended up tasting like. I'm like, okay, I can kind of picture myself there. Like I don't know how else to describe it. Like you have to try it, and then like it'll give you a sense of almost being somewhere else because it's so unique.
Yeah. That's it. Rob Ratliff travels a lot for work, and he's living in the UK, but he travels, all over the world. And so everywhere he goes, he tries to bring back local honey, and then he makes a mead out of it. And
wow.
Yeah, and he's doing one right now with some honey he brought back from Korea. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that turns out. But he said some of the honeys you find are amazing, and in some places there aren't any local honeys. He went to was it Singapore? Yeah, I think it was Singapore. And all their honey comes from like Taiwan and Indonesia, so they didn't have any local honey. So it was just, nothing at all.
That's really interesting. I mean, you have to think about how do like some of their crops work then. Like, do they not have crops that require pollinators, or do they have crops where they're being pollinated by strictly like butterflies and moths and things like that? Or
maybe they're using, it's China. Maybe they're using peasants,
In Singapore, I think it's a city-state. I'm not sure exactly how much land they've got for agriculture at this point.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I think all of their food gets brought in from out in the provinces, so, and it's possible that there's honey. Well, I mean, if there's bees, there must be honey out there somewhere, but whether or not...
Not all bees make honey, though.
Well, that's true.
I know somebody who did the pollination thing with a bunch of the type of bees she was using did not make honey. They just pollinated really well.
Does that crazy Nepalese honey ever make it to the States, or is it illegal?
Oh, the pecan honey?
No,
the one that off the side of that hill or whatever.
Oh, that one. Oh, okay.
The hallucinogenic honey.
Oh, that one.
Oh, that honey.
I'd love to try a mead made out of that one.
I don't know. That might be a little scary. Although it might be fun watching somebody else drink it, Why are the walls bleeding? Don't worry, it's just not really real.
It's just the mead.
So what's next, Alex? You guys are looking for a location now. How big are you going to go once you get a place?
We're looking right now for somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500 square feet. Unfortunately, the rules, regulations in California, you have to have specific zoning. I wish I could do it, at my house or something like that, but that would never fly. So we have to be in like an industrial or manufacturing area, which obviously isn't the best for foot traffic, But one of the other things that we're keeping an eye out on, or an eye on, is with all the breweries that are in Orange County, they found a way to make it work, and they've kind of clustered together. So there's a lot of benefit to moving into an area that's close to them. You get the marketing of the beer tours that bring people on buses. You get especially if you're in like the same business park or remotely close, you can get cross flow traffic. So they say locations. The rule is like location, right? That's about where you are. Unfortunately, when you're manufacturing, that doesn't always work. Like, there's a lot of other things that come into it. Mm-hmm. And our Brewers Guild has been actually really helpful in me figuring out some of the stuff that I need that I didn't even think about. One of the biggest ones being that the building that we're going to have, because we're going to have a tasting room, is all approved for like ADA access. Like, I would have never thought that.
Yeah.
making sure that people can get in and out, that there's ramps, that like the bathrooms are handicap accessible, stuff like that. That would never crossed my mind. But even just over a week's time doing some research, I found one bar and one brewery that had to do